Dane on the second read was pretty hot, honestly. I just listen.
Welcome back to the Two Girls with No Lives podcast.
We're two girls with no lives, have a conversation, and you're just here for it.
I'm Katie.
And I'm Aubrie.
And we're talking about Fourth Wing.
Yes, today we are covering all things Fourth Wing. There will be spoilers for Fourth Wing and for Iron Flame.
Yes.
The sequel in the Empyrean.
Yes. We are going to be covering Fourth Wing, but like inevitably we're going to also be talking about Iron Flame, but this is kind of like our part one Fourth Wing. We will be having a separate podcast that's more Iron Flame focused, but again, like things are just going to come up that are related to Iron Flame. But yeah, I'm very excited. We have been preparing for Onyx Storm.
Yes.
And doing, rereads and analyzing things. And I swear, every word that's said, I'm going, okay, what does that really mean?
Mm-hmm. Everything.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
I'm like, I know she says that this means that, but what if it really means something else? Mm-hmm. So, very skeptical. I don't trust anything anymore. Considering, I mean, she gave everything away in Fourth Wing, but we just didn't know it. Mm-hmm. And then when you know, you're like, oh, well, okay.
It makes me wonder about Onyx Storm and what all we know. Because, like, we'll talk about this more later, but with Violet's second signet.
Yes, I know.
She has said that it's all in these books.
I know, and I've been looking for it. I've been like, and I want to touch a little bit on that, but I'll save the main stuff for like when we talk about like our theories for Onyx Storm. Yeah. But I that will come up with some of my Fourth Wing stuff because I think I might have. I don't know. I don't think I've figured it out, but I have thoughts.
I have theories.
I'm curious.
Definitely. I don't know if I am correct, but
I don't know if I'm correct either, but yeah.
But no, it will come up. I have so many notes. I have notes in my phone, I have notes in my notebook, and yeah. So, you want to get into it?
Yeah, let's get into it. I just realized I don't know where my phone is, but
I need to plug mine
it's right
up.
here. Okay.
Do you need to plug yours up?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Actually, mine is on 65, but I better do it anyway.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let me pull up my notes. So, Fourth Wing, Book 1, full spoiler discussion. I mean, there's a lot to unpack here, but I think the first thing I just want to say and applaud to Rebecca Yarros for is Xaden Ryerson. Can we just start there? I feel like we should start with Xaden Ryerson.
Definitely.
I mean, coming from the Sarah J. Maas world and like thinking, oh, there's no one better than Rhysand or Dorian or
Dorian.
Rune. I'm gonna throw Rune in there and Hunt.
Love Rowan. We love our SJM boys. But Xaden
did something to me. I mean, like, I was convinced, really, that no one could compare to Rhysand.
Same, honestly.
And now I'm like, oof. Dang. He might possibly.
Honestly, yeah. Honestly, for me, probably. But then if I went back and read, like, Mist and Fury right now, then who knows what I would say. But
totally.
I really love Xaden Ryerson.
And yeah, I mean, very typical enemies to lovers, but I don't even care. Like, it's perfect. He's perfect.
Yeah. That so many people complain that it's like such a toxic relationship, and honestly, the more I look at it, the more I'm like, not really.
Not really.
There's worse things he could have done, definitely.
For sure. And I mean, like, everything that he, quote-unquote, lied about was... It really had nothing to do with Violet. It had more to do with Navarre and, just the world.
Honestly, secrets that weren't his own to share.
Exactly. They weren't really his secrets.
Right.
He was just kind of holding them.
Right.
So, I don't know. Especially, like, I, like, just, finished my, Fourth Wing reread. I guess it was this morning. And, man, I'm just like, it's amazing how different you can feel, especially after knowing what you know.
Yeah.
By the end of it. But, anyway, Xaden.
On that note, on that comment.
Yeah.
Knowing what you know from Iron Flame. Again, this is going to be a big spoiler. Mm-hmm. If you have not read Iron Flame, do not watch this, please.
Right, you have been warned.
This is your last warning, because the big spoiler will come up. Oh, because it has to.
It has to.
It changes everything.
It changes everything, and there's too many little things that happen in Fourth Wing that, lead up to the Iron Flame stuff. And then after you finish Iron Flame, you go all the way back to Fourth Wing, and you're like, what?
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, continue. What?
Well, I was done on that thought, but I was also just gonna say these notes are. I just can't promise they're in order.
Yeah, they're not necessarily in order from beginning to the end of the book. Mm-hmm. But we're gonna. I mean, we're just kind of throwing all of our thoughts out there and.
Everything we caught on the second, and now I have started a third read.
Yes, you did tell me that.
Mm-hmm. Because I didn't want my mind to go anywhere else until we did this podcast.
For sure.
Oh god, but yeah. So you wanna start?
I see something there that I'm already like, what? The first thing on there. Let's talk.
So
tell me your
I saw a Reddit post because I googled. I was like, wait, what was Jack's signet? And then I googled what was Jack's signet, and a Reddit post came up, and someone was like, what was it? And I had this thought, and I think it may be debunked. I don't know. I was gonna ask you though.
Okay.
He couldn't get a signet if he was already turned Venom.
Okay.
Right?
And that's actually a point. It's actually one of my first points that I had written down was, is it confirmed that he was Venom the whole time? And I Googled it, and people were like, oh, no. But actually,
I think he was.
Because when him and, I don't think I wrote this specifically down.
I think I wrote the same thing down.
Jack Barlow, when him and Violet were fighting on the mat, she said he had a red rim around his eyes.
Yes, he already had the red rings. And then he started channeling power into her. Yes. Which was confusing because I thought they couldn't do that inside of the wards.
Right.
So that's what made me rethink the whole he wouldn't have shown powers because he's already Venom. Mm-hmm. But I'm very confused.
That's a great... Well, it's possible. It is technically possible that he hadn't gotten his signet yet because he died maybe right before he would have. Well, quote-unquote died. But also, if he was Venom, then he wouldn't...
Someone shouted, though, you can't use your powers on the mat. Right. You know? And I'm like, okay, so he may have a signet. We just don't know. It was never confirmed.
That is true. But, like, to me, her saying, that he had, the red eyes was like, okay, so he was Venom. early on. And this is touching on Iron Flame, but I'm going to bring it in here because it's relevant. Mm-hmm. He's not the only one in Basgiath who is said to have red-rimmed eyes, because the first year that tried to assassinate Violet also was described to have red-rimmed eyes.
How did she kill him?
They fought on the mat, and she ended up, like, I think stabbing him in the kidney.
And I bet she stabbed him with one of the daggers that Xaden made for her.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
I know. I just caught that today. Wow. So again, that's Iron Flame, but I had to add that because I knew we'd be talking about Jack Barlow being Venom.
Yeah, that's insane.
Mm-hmm. So it makes me wonder who else that we maybe don't even know.
There was a comment at the very end of Iron Flame. I'm so sorry there's already been so many Iron Flame talks.
It's just going to happen.
Let's go hand in hand. At the very end of Iron Flame, Jack says something like, while y'all were smuggling weapons out, we were smuggling them in. And I was like, wait, who's we? The other Venom?
Yeah.
The Sage? I don't know. So maybe that's what he's talking about.
That's pretty crazy.
That's crazy. So that means the wards would have already been faltering.
Well, because that made me wonder there's so many names, and I'm getting it all mixed up. But the, I know I wrote this down. Okay, the other guy, all right, so when Jack and Orlin, and I can't remember the other guy's name, when they go to kill Andarna, are those guys also Venom? Like, it never says anything about them, but...
His friends?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either, but the other day while I was reading, I was like, are they? But yeah, I don't necessarily think so either, but...
I think they were surrounded by more Venom than we ever knew, because there is a note that is like, I don't know how they describe it, I forgot, but basically it's a note to Lilith Sorrengail saying they can't, or despite their efforts or whatever, there is no cure. The only thing that will help is control.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Is that when they break in to get the map?
No.
Or is this later
It's
on?
one of the recovered...
Okay. I got you.
At the beginning of a chapter.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So...
Interesting. That's very interesting.
On that, one of those little recovered things... First part of the book, first line of the book.
I know.
Is insane. I'll read that out loud just so everyone knows what we're talking about.
Here, do you want me to hold your mic?
Sure. Thanks. Gotta find
You're
it.
Like caught underneath. There we go. Good.
There we go. Okay. The following text has been faithfully transcribed from Navarian into... Is that how you say it? Navarian. Sorry, I'm stupid. Into the modern language by Justinian Neilwart, curator of the Scribe Quadrant at Basgiath War College. All events are true, and names have been preserved to honor the courage of those fallen. May their souls be commended to Malik.
That is crazy.
That's insane. That's how the book starts. And when you're reading, you don't say Justinia until your second read, because you're
even when Violet is like seeing her in the scribe
quadrant.
The scribe quadrant. It's just like, that's my friend. You're not remembering that little bit in the very beginning.
No, you don't catch that.
So, yeah.
I don't know. I have a note on here that says, Again, this is jumping around, but it says Xaden saying, quote unquote, "You love me." Violet said, "Loved." When was that? I forget.
I believe that's at the very end. I think it's after she wakes up in Orisha.
Oh, I remember where I was going with that now. I think it was because you find out that he is a type of, what's it called? Intrinsic.
Oh, intrinsic. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so he says, "You love me." And it changes from "you love me?" to "you love me," period, after you know that he is. Because he is saying, "No, you love me." And then she says, "Loved," and I bet he's like, "What a punch in the gut! I know your intentions."
I flat out know you're lying.
The whole story changes the whole time, because from the very first time Violet sees Xaden, she's like, "Oh my gosh, that beautiful man over there."
I know.
And he knows what she's thinking, and then he turns around, probably thinking, "Oh, who's this lady?" You know?
Right. Like, trying to play it off.
Right. You know, and then he finds out that it's a Violet.
Right.
And they, like, hate each other. I mean, he doesn't really. So I was going to talk about this too, but I really think that Rebecca is writing a full Xaden point of view. First book.
You have said that.
I really think so.
She might be. I forgot what evidence you had that you told me.
She posted on Instagram. And I'll have to find it real quick.
But it was like a story, right? Or was it an actual
a post? She posted. At first I thought, I was like, "Oh my gosh, she posted the first page of the new book?" But no, she posted chapter 1, and there's a few things highlighted. It says, she highlighted, "A dragon without its rider is a tragedy. A rider without their dragon is dead. Article 1, Section 1, the Dragon Riders Codex." Then she highlighted, "Conscription Day is always the deadliest." And then later on she highlighted, "I'm so..." And that's it. That's all that she highlighted. Well, it's chapter 1 of the very first book. And then for her caption, this is what made me think so. For her caption, she said, "Loving this phase of life where I get to hang with my family, prep to see you all on tour, unpack books onto shelves I'll no doubt reorganize a dozen times, and work on a secret project that takes me straight back to where this whole whirlwind started."
Gosh.
With a winky face. Then, yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah. I mean, that very well could be a Xaden point of view.
Definitely.
I mean, I don't see why not.
What I'm thinking is she highlighted those things because those are things that are also gonna be said. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh gosh, yeah, probably.
Like, Xaden will probably say, "I'm so f***ed because her mom basically told him, you know, rang in her deal or whatever."
Right.
And wants her to wants him to keep her alive. Right. So, anyway. I'm trying to mark these off as I go.
Going back to Xaden being an intrinsic and not knowing it, there was a part after Amber, I think is her name.
Amber
Mavis, when they came in and they tried to kill Violet in her sleep. And, you know, Xaden comes in, whatever, he takes them to the dragons. And Taryn is not happy. He is pissed.
I know. And Xaden's pissed at Taryn.
And Xaden's pissed at Taryn. But Taryn says to Xaden, "Don't you try to read me, human."
I know. I caught that.
I was like,
so
interesting.
He didn't know. However, there are a few inconsistencies and this isn't her first book, this is her first fantasy book, but that brings me to, like, another thing that I had written down. Did Violet forget about all of the kids with, like, rebellion parents being transcribed? Is that what it's called? Transcribed? I think that's what they call it. Transcripted.
Yeah.
Into the writer's quadrant. Mm-hmm. Did she forget that Mira told her that at the very beginning of the book, right before she's about to watch the parapet? Because then later on, she's like, wait, y'all can just be a scribe or whatever you want to be. Whatever, I don't know what she says. Well, then they're like, no, don't you know that we're all writers? Liam tells her that.
Oh, yeah.
So, did she forget? Because that's very un-Violet of her.
Right. That is very un-Violet for her to just forget that. Mm-hmm. That's interesting. I don't think I didn't catch that. Mm-hmm.
So it could just be something like that Taryn says
it
that. It
could be. And it could just be, like, coincidence, too. Like, he might have just said that. Mm-hmm. And she knew that it was, like, you know, something that would come back up later.
Right.
And we'd probably rethink. And that's what's tricky about it, is, like, is she putting things in there that we are going to overthink?
She very well could be, because she's a huge fan of Taylor Swift. So that's very much something Taylor Swift would do.
Yeah. This is off topic a little bit, but on topic. Talking about the marked ones. Mm-hmm. I think it's Liam, or it might be Zayden, but I'm pretty sure it's Liam, that specifically mentions by name the youngest one, who is 6, named Julianne.
I noticed that.
And I was like, why did we point that one out? Why did we give her a name? I think she's going to come up.
There was another character kind of like that. But at first I thought it was Jack saying it, but I think it was someone else. But it's when Violet's on the mat and they say, my sister was a healer. I bet you break super easily or something.
Oh,
and I was like, why are we... Well, when I thought it was Jack, I was like, Jack has a sister? But then I was like, I don't think it's Jack. But yeah, no, why? Zayden. Zayden is responsible for all of them.
Right.
Technically. I wonder if he's going to... I mean, we got to get past all the Venom stuff. But I wonder if he will eventually try to take in, because they're all just in foster homes.
Right. He might. I'm sure that that's something he would want to do.
Oh, well, this is one of my points.
Okay.
It says very clearly in the book, 3rd years. Let me go back to this real quick, because I think I have a note saved on it. I don't know where I wrote it down, but basically, 3rd years are allowed, or writers are allowed to get married after their 3rd year. And so I don't know if Violet is going to finish or what, but are they going to get married after they finish all this Venom crap out? And
I think so.
On that note, are they going to adopt that 6-year-old?
Oh, maybe that's it. Interesting.
I don't know. I mean, that's kind of far-fetched, but...
It's pretty wild, but I don't think it's like... Yeah, I don't think it's impossible. That's interesting. That would... I mean, and again, there could be no significance to that name, but I think... I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. Going back to the whole Venom thing and Violet's mom thing, Lilith Sorrengail, the sickness that she had when she had Violet, that turned her hair silver. Her hair is very specifically silver. Other people's hair are like gray or whatever. Then you get to other Venom, and there's like one, and it's like specific, like silver-haired Venom or something along that lines. I can't remember exactly what.
Yeah.
But and then there's another part, and it's when they're walking, it's like where the dragons are like watching them to see, whatever. Well, Violet says, one time I actually asked my dad if my mom was going to turn Venom. And because she had just come home from a battle and blah, 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 blah. I don't even know. Well,
yeah, I do remember that, though.
Did she turn Venom while she was pregnant?
I don't know. Because she never talks about... I don't know. I don't think so.
It says control is the only cure. I think she is pretty controlled. I mean, I would say...
Interesting.
To be able to control your emotions and stuff from your kids, like not even be able to like acknowledge your kid for 3 years because she's going into the Rider's Quadrant.
Yeah.
That takes a lot of control.
It does.
And I didn't notice them ever saying anything about red ring eyes, but that's not to say that all Venom have that red ring unless they have recently channeled power. Because I know it gets worse and worse when they do channel. So if she's gone so many years without channeling from the ground and only channeling through her dragon, then I don't know. Maybe she turned Venom.
That's interesting. It's a very interesting thought.
Because what else was the sickness?
Yeah, and actually, kind of on that topic, I was thinking about that earlier, but it had more to do with Violet's possible second signet. Because, I mean, here's the thing. We all know that Andarna, like, the time-stopping ability was not, like, a signet.
No.
It was just, like, a power from being, a young dragon.
Yeah.
So... it's going to happen. She's going to have something else. Truthfully, and again, like, this is kind of going into theory territory a little bit, but I'll just kind of briefly say, I think that there's something about Violet and her easily broken bones, and...
it's confirmed she has an illness. I forget what the illness is.
Yeah.
But the Rebecca apparently has the same one.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So that's why she wrote her like that.
Okay.
But I don't know. Maybe.
I'm thinking it could end up being like a flip on her in a good way. Like, not like a mender, but maybe like and she's also, she was, and part of it was Brennan leaving the book, but like she figured out how to make all those poisons and she can identify poisons, and I don't know. It just makes me wonder, like, is there some kind of like not a mending, but maybe a poison, like a drawing out of, I don't know.
Possibly.
Because Liam, when he dies, or is dying, is saying that Xaden needs her. And I think, yes, he needs her for a lot of reasons, but I think that he needs her for more than just to be together.
Yeah.
Like, I think Violet is going to be the one to figure out how to cure Xaden. And I think that's kind of like, okay, yeah, duh. But I don't know. I think it's deeper.
Rebecca said Violet will have one goal in the next book. And she also posted this quote from it, and it's, "I will not die today," or whatever that she says her saying is, or whatever. It's crossed out, and underneath it says, "I will save him." Ugh. I know.
Ugh. Gosh.
There's also that one song that she said.
I can't.
I know.
I can't do it.
I can't listen to it. Oh, God. what were we just talking about before that?
We were just talking about, before the second signet?
No, the second signet. That's what it was.
Okay.
So, there's rumors going around, obviously, a lot, of what Violet's second signet would be. Mm-hmm. A lot of people are saying, oh, she's going to be able to resurrect people, and Xaden's going to die, and then he's going to resurrect, or she's going to resurrect her dad, and he's going to help her. I don't think so. Because they specifically say, one of the professors says, talking about Taryn's last rider, who tried to save Brennan, he says, there is not a signet that resurrects people.
Right.
Completely debunks it. However, that whole her seeing Liam for that long, that's interesting. And
There's
I think that has to do with her signet. I think she can't resurrect people. I think she can talk to dead people. I don't know what you would even call that.
I don't know.
I don't think we have a full signet list of what she's thinking in her head. But I think it has something to do with her seeing Liam.
Interesting. I would never have even considered that.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't think it was a hallucination. I think he knew, I think he knew too much of what was going on and was too aware to, have just been in her mind. And to know, he says something about Xaden, he's like, I guarantee he already knows and he's already on his way. Or I can assure you he's already knows and he's already on his way. He said it knowingly, and I don't think somebody who's just an imagination can do that, especially when Violet was doubting that he would even come in the first place.
That's interesting. That's very interesting. Well, I do know, I don't know if it was a TikTok or an Instagram story or what, but I think it was a TikTok. But Rebecca Yaros, I guess someone had asked, what's your favorite signet? And she's like, you haven't seen it yet? And I'm like, okay.
That's interesting.
I don't know. I really have been kind of through the reread being like, okay, well, what could it be? But I don't know. I mean, I think it could go so many different ways. Yeah. And I don't know. There's something, I don't know. There's something to Taryn, too. And I was thinking about this earlier. There's a little more significance to him choosing Violet.
Oh, I do have a point on that, actually. So, he wasn't willing to bond, obviously. And he wasn't going to come until Sigale called him and told him to come. Otherwise, Xaden was going to save her, be killed, or whatever they do, punished. And he needed to come. So he bonded Violet because she saved Andarna. There's a quote later on that says, Violet, she's like, maybe the next time someone's saving you, you could try flying off. Just thought. And then Andarna says, have you thought that maybe I was the one saving you? And the whole time Violet is walking in here, I didn't get this till my third read, okay? The whole time Violet is walking through, she's like, I definitely have come across dragons that are not my dragon, know that for sure, but I definitely haven't come across any dragons that are my dragon. And so, I mean, she says maybe she was the one who was saving her. So I'm thinking, did she kind of sense that none of the dragons hadn't, picked out Violet? And she also says something later on, and it's I waited 650 years to hatch for this when I heard that, you were coming through. Right. And then she says she did that because, and this is Iron Flame, sorry, not sorry, fine. But she says something along the lines of, we are the same, because she's right. Violet's different, Andarna's a little different. Mm-hmm. Really different. Not a little.
Really different.
But yeah, so I don't know if Taryn, that whole thing I noticed today, it's kind of sad to think about. I don't think Violet would have bonded a dragon if Andarna hadn't have come.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Another point, though, I'll just point out real quick. At the beginning, when it's like right after they get there. They've just crossed the parapet. And all the dragons come flying in, and Sigale, like, stares down Violet and blows steam into her face. Mm-hmm. I was thinking, like, Xaden was giving a speech or whatever, but what was Sigale telling him? Telling Xaden and telling Taryn about Violet.
Oh, yeah. Interesting. We'll find out in that POV if she makes it.
I hope so. Maybe. I would love a dragon POV,
Can I also just say, we don't get enough of Sigale.
We don't.
I love Sigale. I think she's so sweet. I love that she is Xaden's dragon.
Me too. And her, oh gosh, I'm so sorry to say an Iron Flame thing, but
I know.
She said, I chose you.
I know. I can't, like, ugh.
Oh my. We can touch on that later on. But yes. But that brings me, and I'll talk about this later on, but I have thoughts on that too, on what's going to happen with Sigale.
I know.
If Sigale dies, I'm going to be mad. But I do think one of the dragons are going to have to die.
I know, and I think it's probably going to be Andarna, truthfully.
You think so? She's the 7th breed. She's going to have her own den. She's already foreshadowed to that.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know. I'm scared.
I'm scared too.
I don't want anyone else to die.
I know.
I don't want this already. The Xaden Venom thing is way too close to Dorian and the Collar.
Oh, I fully agree with that. And I'm
like, oh, ow, I didn't want to go through something like that all over again.
The whole time Dorian wore that collar, I was an anxious wreck. And I
know. Every time you'd get, like, those little, like, 2-paragraph chapters of, Dorian living in the collar, it was just like, why?
I know.
Why am I reading this?
We were gypped on Dorian.
I know.
That's another topic for another day.
But it was like, oh my gosh, are we really? And it is different, but I was like, oh, it's a little triggering. But I can't. I'm quite scared.
Well,
for this next book.
She's gonna lead us on this whole book. Very end of the book. It's going to be a cliffhanger of Xaden.
Oh, it's going to be, yeah.
He's either going to be dead or be healed, and we're not going to know which.
Uh-huh. Yep. Also, I know it's really hard not to just throw some theories out there, but I feel like Violet's dad might be alive.
I have had the thought.
Either he's alive or he did more than we know, and possibly, maybe not all for good.
I don't know. I have a note somewhere in here that says I think he was killed.
Really? Mm-hmm. And maybe he was. I mean, like, he's probably dead.
I think he found... Oh, that's what it was. I think he found out the truth. So Violet's mom says a comment, kind of like at the end. She says, I had to send you into the Rider Quadrant because I knew if you went to the scribes, you would find out the truth and they would execute you. And I think that's what happened to her father. Yeah, I think they actually killed him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you could be right there.
These teachers suck. Oh, Atos? Big Atos? Not Dane?
Dane is one thing. Daddy Atos, not in a good way, Daddy either.
Not in a good way. Father Atos.
Father Atos.
Father Atos sucks. And he's still alive.
I know.
Are we just going to miss that? Okay, but I do have a side note on Dane.
We can talk about... No, we should talk about Dane.
This is going to be an unpopular opinion. Okay? Hear me out.
I'm listening.
Dane, on the second read, was pretty hot, honestly. I mean, just listen.
I'm listening.
Listen, Linda.
I'm listening.
Okay. Dane did a lot. Actually, there's a few times. Actually,
oh, man.
he truly cared so much for Violet as a friend.
Yes.
He cared too much. It's like Tamlin.
I was literally... That's like a bullet point I have is Dane gives Tamlin vibes.
Yes, he does. But I really like Dane a lot better. And
I do too.
But here's the deal.
Tamlin redeems himself, but Dane...
Not really.
Dane, he does redeem himself in a better way.
He does. Well, here's the thing. Dane makes me so mad that he disrespected her boundaries and took her memories without it. There's so many times in the book that he could have. Oh, yeah. And I realize he specifically says I have to touch someone's temples. So I don't know.
It is said,
but here's the thing. Right after threshing, when Violet comes back and Dane is like, oh, they told me you bonded 2 dragons, you have to pick the smaller one, and Xaden steps in and he's all Zaddy Xaden, and let's be very clear about something. Xaden is superior, obviously. I'm totally team Xaden
without question.
But Dane just was like, okay, on the second read, and I'll explain that a little better in a second.
I felt more anger toward him on the second read.
Really?
It did.
I felt less because I knew that he just got his crap together and they just kind of like made up, and he feels really sorry.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm a sucker for apologies. I am. We won't talk about that. However, but Dane, after threshing, after Xaden, they have their little, what'd you do? Did you interfere? And Xaden's like, what do you call me? Fool?
Right.
I don't know. Anyway.
Right. Well, and then Xaden asks Dane.
And he says, well, maybe you should think about Sigale being bonded to Taryn. Well, I just want to go. So then a little bit later, when Violet is standing there and Dane comes back up, and he, right before, I guess it's right after they announce or whatever that she can have both dragons or whatever, and then right before he kisses her, he touches her face. He cups her face is what it says.
Yeah.
And I think he checked her memory to make sure Xaden wasn't lying.
I'd agree.
I'm really upset with him.
For doing that?
I'm really upset.
Oh, I can see.
I really am. Actually, I really am upset with him for acting like that. Stupid Dane. But you know what? He really is sweet. He's not his father. We give Dane so much hate for following the rules. But you know what? One of the first things Violet said to Jack was, after he tried to literally kill her on the parapet, and they get off and they're like, well, Violet can kill you because she's off and she's a cadet and you're still technically not on. And they say, well, what's it going to be, Sorengale? Are you going to kill him? And she looks at him and she says, are you going to follow the rules? And I have laughed out loud every single time I've heard that because that is so cringy to just tell this basically murderer, are you going to follow the rules?
Right.
You better. Or I'm going to tell my mom.
Right.
She's the general. Yeah. You know what I mean? So everyone needs to get off of Dane's back for trying to follow the rules. He should have listened to Violet. He should have respected her boundaries. I just want to bring up one more point.
Okay.
On Dane.
Okay.
When This is Iron Flame. I'm so sorry.
It's fine.
This
I'm gonna
all
keep
ties
saying that.
Zayden is already graduated. He's already off to his post. Violet's there. She's pissed at Dane. Whatever. Always. Well,
what's new? Yeah.
He's like, he tells the professor that he wants to take her to the mat. And he takes her to the mat. I'm sorry. That was a little... I was like, okay. Okay, I'm just saying. Here's the deal. I'm just saying. If Zayden did that, we would all be fangirling.
Mm-hmm. I'm not saying Dane's not hot. But... he's just a little possessive.
He is! But I think that's my problem. I kind of like possessive.
I see. Well, here's my only concern, and again, it's going to Iron Flame a little bit.
Just a little bit.
But I'm a little worried about Dane kind of trying to shoot his shot with Violet again in Onyx Storm. Because when they're, like, trying to translate, they kind of get close again. And I feel like Dane's going to take advantage of the situation with Zayden. He's going to be like, oh, okay, well, you definitely shouldn't be with him now. He's venin. He's, kill him, be done. And then, while you're at it, just be with me.
Okay, I could see that. However, I just want to say, while they are sitting there or whatever, he says, do you love him?
Yeah.
And she says yes, and that's never going to change. And he accepts it, and they move on. They're friends.
He does. But I sense a little bit of...
Maybe. I think maybe he's going to move on. He's got to eventually in life. And also, people are shipping him with Kat. I wouldn't wish Kat on my worst enemy.
Are you? No, I haven't. People are saying that?
People are saying that.
Oh, no.
Can you believe that?
Why would they do that?
I still don't like Kat. I'm sorry. I know this is Iron Flame. I'm so sorry. I don't like Kat. I don't trust Kat. Kat, people like Kat. I don't see anybody talking about Kat. I see everybody like, ooh, Dane sucks. Dane sucks.
No one talks about Kat.
Kat sucks.
Kat sucks way worse than Dane.
Way worse. She sucks. She came to their room in a translucent robe or whatever. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Delvery cotton. I don't know what it's called. I forget. Gosh. But,
I know.
I don't like her. I still don't trust her. She's still in it for the crown.
Oh, yeah.
She's playing buddy-buddy with Violet. If I'm worried about anybody betraying anybody, it's Kat maybe using the situation as well. Because I was thinking, oh, gosh, this is Iron Flame. We really need to save this part for Iron Flame. But just remind me to come back to this. Zayden told Violet that she might feel safer at Basgaia. And it kind of, seemed like he was maybe going to go back. And if they're going to continue the school for the Griffin Riders there...
Okay.
Remind me to go back to that.
We'll go back to that.
I have a lot of thoughts on that.
I'll remember.
Let me read through my notes for a minute.
Let me see, too.
You see my note on that? Literally, both of these.
I love that. I seriously love that.
Oh, well, I was just going to say really quickly, I'm sorry, on the wedding thing.
Fine.
I think that might be the fourth book, because I know we're going in waves here. So maybe the fourth book if there is a wedding.
If there is, then it'll be book 4. Oh my gosh. I have a bullet point that just says, we kind of touched on this actually, but is Zayden the ultimate shadow daddy?
He is.
I do.
From what we have read so far. But I do think that no one can top Zayden.
No.
I'm slowly convincing my husband to get a relic tattoo. And start going to the gym.
Yeah.
And call me Violence.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. You know, when I first, like, before, like, really getting into Iron Flame, like, I did see, like, just a quote that said, you know, whatever violence. I don't even remember what the quote was, but it was using the nickname. And at first I was like, oh, that's cringy.
At first.
And then when I read it in context, I was like, oh, okay, my mind has changed.
I think people who don't read it in context are the ones who say that it's cringy or whatever. But I think that it's very, very Xaden to call her violence. And I think it's fitting. I think she is a little violent thing,
she is.
And, like, I don't know. I don't know. He likes calling her Violet, but that's really saved for just them.
Okay. That just reminded me, though. Rereading the first time they get together, and she wakes up the next morning and he's gone, but there's a little jar of violets. I was like, okay, he had no right to be that sweet. Yeah. What in the world?
He literally, before his leadership meeting, had to go out
and find violets.
Do you think that Sigale, like, whispers things basically in his ear? You know what I mean?
Hey, you should do this.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I bet she says it, like, harsher, though. She's like, are you just gonna leave? Like.
She would. Yeah, if she was gonna say anything, she would say that. She'd be like, you better do something.
Or Taryn. Taryn has a line to his head, so he's like, wing leader.
I know.
Take her flowers now.
I know.
Or Andarna. Xaden.
You should bring her flowers.
Oh, she'd love that.
I love the dragons so much.
Me too.
Like, every time that, like, there's, like, a moment where Taryn is, like, big and scary, I'm just like, oh.
I know.
Like, everyone's, like, afraid, but I'm just like, oh. I want to pet him. I want to ride on his back.
When Violet, like, scratches their chin.
I know.
Or, like, nuzzles their. There's been a few parts she'll, like,
I know.
Do that. But, yeah, that's so sweet. I honestly, just imagining myself standing in front of a dragon, though, like, looking up at a dragon that could just eat me in one bite. I do sometimes am like, ugh. You know?
It's, yeah.
It's a little freaky.
It's a little freaky. I have a hard time sometimes really imagining how large Taryn actually is.
Yeah.
Because when I think of Sigale, I mean, I see her as a pretty big dragon. And to think that Taryn is bigger than her is like, oh my gosh, I don't know. It's crazy. But then also to think about Andarna. How small she is.
I noticed in the first book, it says Violet looks over to Andarna and up to Taryn.
Right. Yeah.
So
yeah,
cute.
I love the dragons. I love them so freaking much.
I think I sent you this, but there was a TikTok, and it was basically like right after they get bonded, and Xaden sees Dane kissing Violet, and he gets, like, I don't know, but I guess the TikTok was saying, like, Taryn, or he says, like, to Taryn, did she like that? And Taryn is like, yeah, she liked it.
She did, right.
So that they'll, and then Sigale, I guess in the TikTok she said, like, Sigale said, oh, don't be mean, you know? And then they agree, oh, no, he needs to try harder. And then he brings her the flowers later.
That's cute.
Oh, I love it.
It's nice to be able to be, like, to be able to safely watch Fourth Wing TikToks. As soon as I finished Iron Flame, I was like, oh, yes, okay, I can watch the TikToks now.
Same.
What did I miss? What kind of sad memes? Or I call everything a meme.
Everything.
Every, like, video on TikTok I call a meme. I feel like an old person.
We are, kind of.
Yeah.
A little bit.
But, yeah, like, we haven't even talked about Liam.
I know. Liam deserved better. Dylan deserved better.
Dylan. I was uncalled for.
Uncalled for. She did not have to mention that he was going to propose. And would have.
Why did she do that? I think that chick's gonna come around.
You think so?
Maybe. I don't know. I just kind of thought that right now.
Maybe.
She might. She might not. Everyone's gonna be like, Dylan?
Right.
Who? Because it was that short.
Yeah. Oh, I was gonna talk about, there's like an orange dragon theory where anybody with an orange dragon is evil. I don't agree fully. I think orange dragons, I think it says like they're the most temperamental or something.
I think so.
But it also says something at some point in the first book that their temperament or something depends on their tail. So I think we need to figure out what Jack's orange dragon's tail was and compare it to Brennan's orange dragon's tail. I think it's Brennan that has an orange dragon. Anyway, because people think that he's going to betray. I personally don't think so.
Oh, I don't either. I don't think Brennan's going to do anything wrong at this point.
If anything, I think he might actually die. Saving his sisters.
Yeah.
Mira, she may die as well.
I know. It'll be either or, I think. But truthfully, I thought that was going to happen in Iron Flame.
But somebody's going to die for somebody. And then it ended in Iron Flame, it ended up being their mom.
I know.
Which sucked. I cried really hard.
I did too. I was like, why do I feel this way?
I know. Then the tears just kept streaming once you find out about Zayden.
I know. It just keeps going.
Oh, you know what I was going to say, though?
What?
Oh, this is Iron Flame. Never mind.
I have a bullet point. And I'm just going to read it as is because this is still how I feel. Liam's death was so uncalled for. Rebecca and I are going to throw hands.
Preach.
Why did she have to... Why? I get it. You gotta have a death.
He didn't have to have a death right then. He could have lived to see his sister. I know.
He could have. But also, the note before that was him and Dee's bond. Like, right, before things kind of go bad for them, they're, like, in sync. Like, the way they fight is, like... I don't know. I'd have to read it, like, out loud to really describe what I'm talking about. But, like, just the way that, like, Liam knows how to, like... He knows how to move on Dee, and Dee knows how to move with him on him and fight together. And it's just like, they really... It really... I mean, it made sense. Like, it worked for the scenario of, him really, truly dying because of Dee dying.
Yeah.
And it's just, yeah.
He didn't even have to die. Violet saved him, and he only died because his dragon died.
Right.
Sucks.
It does suck.
I guess he could have just turned Venom right then. There's also rumors that Liam is Venom. I don't think so.
No. Haters.
Haters gonna hate.
Yeah, no. Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. First book. Right. Oh, when Taryn and Andarna start channeling to Violet, and, she starts feeling Taryn's feelings.
Yeah.
And she runs out in the hallway and runs into Liam, whatever. Well, she has, like, a flash. It took me until my third read to realize she flashed to Zayden's view. She sees snowflakes.
Oh my god.
I'm going to read just that line.
You're right, though.
Right. I
know.
Now
that you mentioned that.
It literally took me until... Oh, that's your cuckoo clock. It's been another hour. Dang. Let's see.
What's happening here? Oh, man.
I'm tired. It's 2 a.m, y'all.
Yeah, for real. I can't believe that we're up still. Right. I can't believe I'm this awake.
Same. I know. It's after this. I can't believe I'm this awake either. It's that espresso I had.
It's that dang espresso.
Let's see.
But I do know what part you're talking about.
Yeah. I have
That's
it
crazy.
bookmarked.
I didn't even think about that.
In my Audible. If we wanted to go straight to it. He won't let this happen. He might hate me, but he's a wing later. Nope. Oh, yeah, it's after this.
I was going to say, it's a little further.
This is still threshing.
While you're looking for that.
Yeah, you go ahead.
That kiss between Violet and Xaden, that first one.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Electric. No pun intended.
Yeah, I know.
I was like, I wasn't really expecting it. And then when I was reading it, I was like, oh my gosh, wow. All right. Go for it.
You know what?
What?
I realized I gave you knew that she already had electricity. I gave you a spoiler. I realized another spoiler I gave you.
Which one?
Good. Maybe you didn't realize it. I don't think you technically knew yet that it was Xaden's mom that cut his back.
Xaden's mom.
Not Xaden's mom.
You mean Violet's mom?
Sorry, Violet's mom. That, put the cuts on his back?
No, I think when we talked about, I think I knew that when we talked about that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What the heck? I really want to read this out loud. Oh, I knew I should have gone through and bookmarked things before we did this.
It's okay. I meant to do that too, because I wanted to quote things.
It is
as they are. It's right. It's before. No, it's after. Amber Mavis tries to kill her.
Nah. Yeah. Yeah, it is right before that. I think it's right here.
Okay.
Bringing the staff. Ah! You talk about something while I'm looking for this.
Oh, let's see. What to talk about? Xaden. Let's talk about Xaden some more. Xaden. No, seriously, I can't get over him. I don't know. I mean, I think he really makes the book in a lot of ways. I don't know, though. Violet at first kind of annoyed me. Mm-hmm. And I really like Violet a whole lot more now than when I first started reading Fourth Wing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what it was about her. I think that to me she was like a little whiny at first.
Definitely.
But then I just kind of realized, okay, well, she didn't want to really be a part of any of this.
Right.
And she's just trying to figure out like what to do, and like, okay, her friend Dane is here, but like Dane has changed, and it's just I don't know. It's amazing how things can change, especially once you learn things. I had another point I thought about Brennan, but actually now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think it had anything to do with anything.
About Brennan?
Yeah, I thought about like foreshadowing that Brennan was actually alive. But I think I was thinking it, and then I was like, no. Like I was in the middle, I was like reading, and I was like, is this a connection?
Mm-hmm. This is it.
Okay, you found it?
Technically. I am right here. I'm just looking for the exact line.
Okay.
Yeah, it's right here.
Did you find it?
Yes!
Okay.
Odd, but whatever. It's probably just a side effect effect of the power. I throw open the lock on my door and yank it open. My vision blurs and need slams into me, robbing me of every logical thought besides satiating. Is that how you say that?
I think so.
Whatever. The overwhelming. Violet, the fuzzy shape of a man, stands in the hallway, and I blink Liam into focus. You all right? Are you sleeping in the hallway? I grip the doorframe as an image of falling fills my mind, and I feel the sizzle of flakes as they make contact with my heated skin. It's gone as quickly as it appeared, but the driving, thundering desire remains. So I think it's Xaden's view.
It could be Xaden.
He, again, later says, I've been in love with you since the snow fell in your hair.
Interesting.
I know.
Wow.
I know.
Yeah. That's a good good catch on that.
Mm-hmm. All right, I talked about that. Have you looked through your bullet points?
Yeah, I think that I've said everything.
I'll just read this one out. It says, people thought Violet's mom caused the storm to kill her or make it harder on Violet on the parapet.
Yeah.
And after Iron Flame, people said, well, it was probably due to her being stressed about Violet, so the storm happened from that, like from her emotions. It says, okay, so people thought it was from her mom trying to kill her. Then after Iron Flame, they thought it was from her emotions. But Violet says multiple times throughout both books that storms calm her. Her mother likely made the storm, having faith she'd get across or just hoping she'd get across.
Right.
But eliminating as many other candidates as possible, so Violet had a higher chance of bonding or just not being killed. Mira says something like, there is never enough dragons for cadets. And Violet's mom knew the storm would actually help to calm her nerves. That's my theory on it. I think she did it to calm her nerves. And then later on, they say that it's actually higher than the average for people who were killed on the parapet.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That's really, yeah, I gotta like let that sit for a second.
Right.
No, but that's a good thought.
I had another thought too. Someone, when they're fighting on the mat, Imogen and Violet the first time, someone says, Imogen, you can't use your powers in here. But what powers? I thought Imogen's powers were, she could wipe people's memories. Their recent memories. Isn't that right?
I don't know. I don't know that I've picked up on that.
Well, because when they go sneak into the archives, she's like, oh, well, that's what I can do. But, so what powers was she using on the mat?
I don't know. That's interesting.
Right. I was very confused.
Huh. I'll have to look into that one.
Mm-hmm. Also, there's a theory going around that, like, Second Wing, I think, or Second Squad is evil. All of them. Dane was technically, he started out in Second Wing. I forgot. He was moved to Fourth Wing. Which, first of all, I'd be, like, upset that my whole first year I'm in Second Wing. And then I moved to Fourth Wing.
Yeah, for sure.
Because of Violet. No offense, Violet.
Right.
Or anything. Oh, another thing about Jack. Amber, I think it's Amber, possibly, or the other one. I don't know. The girl that he's good friends with.
No.
I
don't think it's Amber, but yeah, it might be. That sounds familiar, but I could just be thinking that because of her.
Yeah, it's probably not Amber Mavis. It's like, it's someone else. I can't remember exactly. But she bonds a dragon later on after threshing. And they're like, oh, how'd that happen? And they say, did you not hear? Her dragon's rider fell off during training practice yesterday. Well, it shows, and I don't know if this is just in the graphic audio or if this is in the book as well. I'd have to go back and listen to both side by side. But in the graphic audio, Jack is like cheering her on and he says, I knew that would work. And I was like, but what?
Interesting.
Did he somehow knock him off the dragon so that the dragon would bond her?
Huh.
But I don't know. Again, that may be just a coincidence. I don't know.
That's interesting. I don't think I picked up on that either. See, and like you being on a third read is
definitely helping. A lot of these notes were for my second. I just started the third today, I think, or yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, bye. I'm tired.
I think that's like the main stuff that I kind of had. I don't know. I'm sure, and I see you've got
a lot of this is Iron Flame.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. No, I think all of this is Iron Flame because I can't talk about a lot of this. Except for maybe this one. Taryn's last rider. I want more information on him.
I think we will get more information.
It says he saved Brennan. Tried to. Then Brennan died. Then it says later on, like, oh, well, he was successful, but he still killed himself.
Right. I know. I think we will learn more about that.
And he was a siphon.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, I actually, I think that's talked about in Iron Flame. Because I think I just read that today.
I just had a thought about Violet's second signet.
Okay.
So Xaden, with his second, he says it manifested pretty soon after the shadows. I think he says about a month.
Yeah.
Violet is in her second year.
Yeah.
So.
But Andarna she's not
true.
Full grown yet.
That's very true. I was going to ask, how long is a year at Basgiath?
I don't know.
Because it kind of feels more like 6 months to me.
Well, I know it definitely, I don't know. I think it starts, like, I think it's pretty much, like, let's say from, like, June to May. I think they have a very short break. Like, I think it's, like, almost an entire year.
Really? The break is only, like, 5 days. I think Violet says that.
Was it 5 days? Okay, yeah. So, yeah. Then I think they just go for 3 years.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's something to
think about, definitely. I don't know. I definitely want to know if I could ask Rebecca questions, it would be that, and it would be what is the Xaden and Kat timeline.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Even though it'll probably just make us angry, I want to know. I want to know more about that.
I think Xaden says at some point they were not together when he met Violet or something.
I believe so. Yeah.
But then Kat kind of contradicts that later. And it's like, I'm the reason why he didn't hurt you when, you went into the quadrant. Could have just been. I mean, definitely. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't put that past her, but yeah. But that's Iron Flame again, so we'll bring that up later in the next one.
I think, I think at this point, we're about to dive into Iron Flame territory. I think we've been on just teetering on the edge the whole time. Yeah. Because once you read Iron Flame, everything changes in Fourth Wing. It totally does. It totally does. And I'm very curious what Onyx Storm is going to do for Fourth Wing, let alone Iron Flame.
I'm very curious what a Xaden point of view in Fourth Wing would change.
Definitely.
Could change everything.
It could change everything.
Mm-hmm. Everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked.
It did.
Yeah. Oh, man. Well, it's 2:15 in the morning.
It is. I think we've had a nice discussion about Fourth Wing.
I think we have. There will be many other videos about Fourth Wing.
Mm-hmm.
About Iron Flame. And about Onyx Storm.
Mm-hmm.
And just also, like, little side quest conversations.
Yes. Many. But yes, we're very excited for Onyx Storm. Mm-hmm. And we will be doing, like I said, a part 2, more targeted toward Iron Flame. And, of course, I'm sure we'll go back to some Fourth Wing stuff.
Yeah, well, we have to.
We have to, because they just kind of go together. And I know we did touch on some theories, but we'll come back with some more theories.
Touch on a lot more of the
Onyx Storm
viral theories.
Yeah, for sure. But yes, this was fun.
This was.
And we just posted a video or a podcast, kind of introducing ourselves. So go check that out if you're interested. We also ranked the Sarah J. Maas
universe.
Books.
Yeah.
So we've got some fun stuff that we've done and some fun stuff coming in the future. But yeah, next week or next episode will be Iron Flame / Onyx Storm.
Right. Leading up to the release.
Yes.
Yeah. So we will see you then.
We will see you then.
Oh,
all right.
gosh.
Thank you for hanging out. And this has been 2 Girls with No Lives at 2 a.m.
Mm-hmm. Very tired and drinking wine. On that note, we're going to bed.
We are going to bed.
Night.
Good night.